back to the Black Sheep Podcast, special Halloween edition. If you aren't watching on YouTube, you're missing out. Your boy's got a fat gold chain around his neck, and Ty's dressed up, got his Gucci face tat.
We're out here with the face tats.
Thank you guys for joining us. We got a pretty big show today. I say big, but we're kind of dropping the times. But anyways, we're going to talk some big moves that the Baltimore Ravens made. Should Trevor Lawrence stay in school if the Jets get the number one pick? A little fun with Burrow versus Herbert. Do our early season MVP, Coach of the Year candidate. And then we're going to finish off with our Skunk of the Week and some game previews. So, hey, thank you guys again for joining us. Black Sheep Podcast. As always, it's your host, Josh Collier, joined by my co-host, Tyler. If you watch on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that noti bell, follow us on all our socials. We got a Patreon. You want to support us, all that stuff's down in the description. Let's get right into it. Let's start it out with big news this week coming out of Baltimore. Big trade. Minnesota Vikings traded Yannick Ngakoue to the Baltimore Ravens for a third-round pick. And then they're selling, obviously. They're 1-5. Ravens are obviously buying, trying to get that Super Bowl. What do you think about that?
That's definitely interesting. Eric DeCosta's out here fleecing people. I would say that's a steal for the Ravens. He can make a big impact this year. I think they learned in that Chiefs game that they're going to have to rush 4 and instead of sending the blitz because Mahomes tore that blitz up. So I think they're learning that they're going to have to get pressure with 4 if they match up with them again. So they're going to need Unique to help them with that. But he might be a rental. I don't know your thoughts on that, but I'm not sure if they pay him this offseason. So,
yeah, coming from me, I'm a Jags fan, so I've got a lot of experience with Jan. Wish he would have stayed in Jacksonville. They traded him to Minnesota for a second before the season started. That second's looking really pretty right now. But, yeah, so Jan is definitely a pass rush specialist. He's not someone you're going to want to set the edge for the run, but that dude can get after the passer. And one thing he does that's really good compared to most DNs in the league is when this dude gets back there, he's looking for that strip sack. He's got 3 forced fumbles this year. He's always near the top of the league in terms of forced fumbles by defensive end. So this dude, it's going to be a nice little impact. You're right. The Ravens need to get home with 4, especially when you're playing guys like Mahomes in the playoffs where you want to put as many people in coverage as possible. So him and Calais join forces again. They got a nice little D-line there. So that defense, it was already their strong suit, so they got better. And then their offense got a little bit better, depending on how you feel about it.
maybe.
Des Bryant was signed to the practice squad. Ultimately, we assume he's going to join the active roster. I personally don't think that's that big of a deal. I compare this Des signing to when they had Anquan Bolden and when Anquan Bolden was on the 49ers during their big years. He's just a big body possession receiver at this point in his career. He's not going to burn anybody. But if it's 3rd and 3 and you need 4 yards, I expect Dez to be the guy to go to.
Yeah, if I'm the Ravens, I'm putting him at tight end. And that's kind of what I said when the Chiefs were – he was talking about going to the Chiefs when he was working out with Mahomes and all that. Like, hey, Andy Reid, give me a shot, this, that, and the third. But I don't like him at receiver. I don't think he'll get enough separation. That was kind of his struggle before the Achilles injury. Now he's coming back after the Achilles injury. So if I'm Baltimore, they're really good at throwing to the tight end. I put him next to Mark Andrews. I don't think he can block as a tight end, but he'll be able to run routes with linebackers.
Put him in that slot and just run them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he could make an impact just because their receivers aren't the greatest, but I don't know if he's better than Willie Snead at this point in his career, and that's not saying much.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about it is even his last couple of years in Dallas, he had issues with drops. So you wonder, how are they going to use him? Is the bar high? Is it low? Like, what do you expect? I think he's going to be that third down mover, but I don't think it's going to be anything past that.
The expectations are super high. If you look on Twitter, you'll see they'll say when they signed him, they said, he's already our second best receiver. So they expect big things out of him.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't. Again, when Willie Snead is your number 2, I guess your Bart receiver is kind of low, but I don't know.
They got that Duvernay kid. He's been doing pretty good from Texas, I believe.
Yeah, but he's just a speedster at this point. He's a track star.
Yeah.
He's still learning how to be a receiver.
I think Willie Snead isn't that bad. I know he's not a big name, but I think he's a solid possession guy, kind of like Dez. They kind of fit the same role. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's playing game soon.
they got to figure something out. Lamar's been struggling lately. I brought this
Gotta
up. I mean, he hasn't touched 200 yards in almost a month and a half, and his
gotta
completion
get there
percentage is way
somehow.
down. Oh my goodness. I mean, I had a Ravens fan come to me like, well, he's running. Yeah, he's getting his yards that way, but it's more the completion thing that I'm worried about because his completion percentage isn't high and he's not getting yards. So when it gets to those elite teams, are they really going to be scared of him versus, let him run?
I made the comparison last week that you didn't agree with, but I think the Ravens and Titans are kind of similar teams. Even though Tannehill, I think, is more capable of a comeback. But if you're up 14 on the Ravens in the second half, you're like, oh, we're feeling good. You know, we got this. We're in the driver's seat. We're gonna make Lamar drop back and throw it every time.
Yeah, I can see it from the way they're built because they're both power running teams. They're not necessarily built to pass, but Tannehill at this point, at least since he's been a Tennessee Titan, is way more capable of being able to lead that team when he has to throw the ball. I mean, when you're throwing to Johnny Smith and A.J. Brown, that also helps. So, but Tannehill almost made that comeback against the Steelers. I don't think
Yeah.
Lamar makes it that close when he goes down that big.
Hopefully, we see this weekend.
Oh, yeah, Steelers-Ravens, big game. We'll talk about that
Big
later.
Lamar stand.
Yeah. So we'll go from one of the best teams in the league in the Baltimore Ravens to one of the worst. Now, this conversation really irks me because I think it's pointless. But Trevor Lawrence, obviously, most people's, I'm not going to say everybody's, quarterback one in this year's draft class.
Should be everybody's.
Should be everybody's, but everybody scouts differently. So we have that. The Jets are terrible. They're presumed to get the number one pick, unfortunately. Wish the Jags would. But people are starting to ask the questions with the Jets being so bad. Should Trevor Lawrence consider going back to school? You tell your thoughts, and then I'll go on a big tangent.
I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. But me and you both know that recency bias in sports is the worst recency bias of any other thing in life. And you see guys like Lamar go to a Ravens team that was making the playoffs with Flacco. You see guys like Mahomes going to the Chiefs who are making the playoffs. So they expect that instant impact right away, like we've talked before, and we'll talk about him later. But a lot of people expected Burrow to hop right in and win 7-8 games and make a run in the playoffs. And we just said, hey, you know, if he wins 4 or 5 games, that's a good year. And it is. You can't expect these number one picks to come in and just go to a great team. I mean, nobody picking number one overall is going to have the best team. Obviously, they're there for a reason. And I think it's an honor to be the number one pick. I think Trevor will look forward to that challenge. I don't think he's going to – the Jets aren't as bad as everybody makes them seem. They're not terrible. They're probably a few years away from winning. But if Trevor is what we think he can be, I think he can turn them around pretty quick.
Yeah, I absolutely hate this question. And when people say it, it's always the worst excuses. Like, the Jets are terrible. They haven't done anything. Like, their only problem is literally Adam Gase. Like, why does he still have a job, people ask? Well, it's because they're tanking. And firing Adam Gase right now does absolutely nothing. But when you think about this, think of this situation that Trevor Lawrence is going into. They have a GM in Joe Douglas who's respected around the league. Everybody loves him. They thought it was a great hire. He didn't hire Adam Gase. Adam Gase was there before him. They just drafted Mekhi Becton in the first round last year. Dude looks like an absolute stud already. So Trevor would come into a situation with his left tackle already established. That's something Baker didn't have. Well, Baker had Joe Thomas, but he retired pretty early. And then Joe Burrow certainly doesn't have it. So that's a better situation than both of them walked into. And Denzel Mims, he's got a young receiver that he can grow with. So this is a situation, and LaMichael P. Ryan's a nice young back. So it's not like he's just walking into a team that's terrible. They just need a better coaching staff and a couple pieces, and their owners aren't afraid to spend money. They spent money on Le'Veon Bell where nobody else would. Even though they eventually got rid of him, they still spent it. That was more Gase than the ownership. So I think it's a pretty good situation compared to how people are making it seem. And there's no team in the top 5 where you could say, oh, this is a surefire. He should definitely want to go there. You want to go to the Jags? They've had one winning season in the last 10 years. Good luck. Giants, same deal. Redskins, everybody hates Dan Gilbert.
If you take a guy with the first pick, you're expecting him to be a great quarterback or a great player, whatever position. So obviously, if you can hit in those drafts, I'm pretty sure the Jets have, I forget what they got for Jamal Adams, but they have made some trades to.
They got 2 first safety.
Yeah, so they got some picks. So all I got to do is draft well for the next 2 years or sign some free agents, and they can turn it around really quick.
Yeah, if we're being honest, I'm not saying this to troll Bengals fans, even though we do that a lot. This situation that Trevor Lawrence would walk in with the Jets, so this is all contingent upon Adam Gase being fired, which I think everybody expects. If Adam Gase is still there next year, then yeah, it's a pretty crappy situation. Trevor Lawrence probably should have demanded a trade. But if Gase is gone, this team is a better situation than what Joe Burrow walked into in Cincinnati. And that's my opinion.
I can agree with that. They thought it was a great situation because they thought AJ would be healthy and whatnot and those receivers. But honestly, I heard an idea today. I don't know if it would ever happen because Dabo got a bag, but they were talking about if the Jets could somehow hire Dabo to coach that team.
Yeah, I've seen that with a couple of teams like that, like the teams, the Jags are another one, like a package deal. Dabo and Trevor come on up to the NFL. And that's an interesting scenario. Like you said, Dabo's got a bag, and he's not going to get that money in the NFL. There's just no coach that makes that type of money. So it makes you wonder, like, is he Nick Saban where he wants to take that challenge, or is he content with just hanging out in college and keeping that record going instead of possibly embarrassing himself?
That would be really interesting because I think if Dabo comes, and I believe they have Greg Williams at DC, if they could keep Greg Williams and bring in Dabo, I think they could compete maybe in a year or 2.
Yeah, I think it's a lot faster. And so I'm looking up something real fast. Trevor Lawrence is getting this comparison to the best prospect since Andrew Luck. And I think people forget how good Andrew Luck really was when he came in. And it's really like, this isn't just some comp that scouts like to throw around. Like, oh, he's the next Andrew Luck. That just doesn't happen because there's a generational talent like that. So the Colts in 2011 went 2-14, drafted Andrew Luck first overall. Didn't add like crazy pieces. They didn't go out and sign some superstar. And his rookie year led them to an 11-5 record. So this is the type of impact they're assuming Trevor Lawrence is going to have on a football team. Now, that's not saying he's going to take the 0-16 Jets and make them 10-6, but he could take that 0-16 team and instantly make them like a 6-win team. And
I agree.
I don't think people truly like understand how much praise this guy gets and how great he could be. Nobody knows if he will be, but when people throw these around, it's not just something that they throw around.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and I'm saying it again, but I think a lot of people look too much into Mahomes and Lamar coming right in. Mahomes took a year off. Lamar started halfway through his rookie year, and then the next year they were MVP. And you got to look more at like guys like Kyler. Kyler Murray was drafted first overall. Didn't have the best rookie year, but he turn him into a more respectable team. He did win some games, and now this year I think they're 5-2, 4-2, something like that. So he's turning it around pretty quick there in Arizona.
Yeah, and that's it, exactly what we should look like. You could even look at like a situation like Baker. That's another, like, it takes time. And you're right, people get their mind wrapped around Lamar and Mahomes and that instant success, but forget that those were great situations for those two guys, and they just made those teams better. Like, the Chiefs were good. Add Mahomes, let him marinate, get some salt on his body, and then he makes them great. So you go from that Alex Smith to Mahomes, and then Lamar. Ravens were good, but they were falling with Flacco. Then Lamar comes in and transforms them. And people just expect that to happen with these rookies nowadays.
Even those teams had to hit in the draft and get some big free agent pieces. Even the Chiefs, the first year with Mahomes, they completely remodeled the defense, got rid of all the vets, and added some key free agents and drafted well. So it's not like if you're picking first or 32nd, it doesn't matter. You have to draft well and sign people.
Absolutely. And that's New England's lived on that for years, is replenish, because they're not big spenders in free agency. It's replenish and find guys late in the draft. Chiefs have been great on that. Both corners are late round draft picks?
Yep.
Safeties.
They got their number one corner. They traded for off Dallas's practice squad.
Yeah. You just got to hit on these guys. And, I mean, the Jags' best player right now is an undrafted rookie running back. It's one of those things that sometimes you get lucky. And so, yeah, you're definitely right, those first-round picks. So, again, situation is important. We talked about Lawrence, and when we talk about, like, Lawrence is so great, it's not to down Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Those two dudes are also really good. In any other draft, they're probably number one draft picks. It's just they happen to be in the same draft as the next coming of Andrew Luck. So, nothing against them. But, yeah, moral of the story, Trevor Lawrence is coming out of school no matter what. He's got Rona now, and if he has to miss more than these 2 games, I expect him to just call it and get ready for the NFL draft. That's my opinion. If he's not allowed to come back from the Notre Dame game, I fully expect him to take his count to the next level.
I think he's too much of a competitor for that, but we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. That's such a tough call. It really is, because I don't know. It's really tough.
It depends how affected his cardio is, probably, I would say. Like Dabo said, he's got to build that cardio back up, and he'll be cleared for Notre Dame if everything goes right, but he just doesn't feel comfortable playing him to ramp that back up. So it all depends on that.
Yeah, how his body feels and how he feels that is it worth it at this point. I mean, this is a dude that people are saying he would have been the first overall pick after his freshman season. So, yeah, he's definitely a competitor. So it'll be nice to see what he decides to do. I think if Clemson loses, it makes the situation a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Just call it, hey, DJ, you got it. Now, going from Trevor, the people claim to be the next Messiah, to the Messiah of Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, and the savior of Los Angeles, Justin Herbert. These two guys have lit the NFL on fire in their rookie season. But one gets talked about, well, they both get talked about a lot. But we wanted to see who is having the better season at this point. So we're going to compare.
I just want to come out and say you Burrow stands are annoying as fuck. And no matter how good you think Burrow is, he can be criticized just like every quarterback in the NFL. And it's not all about passing yards. I just hope you guys know that. But through 7 starts, Joe Burrow has done good. Don't get me wrong. But he's at 195 for 293. 293 pass attempts. That's a lot. 66% completion percentage, 2,023 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks, a QBR of 57.2. That's not the greatest. I could swear by Twitter that he is having the greatest rookie year of all time, but 57.2 QBR is rough.
Yeah,
And then
those pass attempts lead the NFL.
yeah, and then we'll go to Herbert. He's got 5 starts, 124 for 184, 67%, 1,542 yards, 12 touchdowns, 3 picks, a QBR of 73.6. So Burrow has 109 more pass attempts, and Burrow only has 481 more yards on those 109 pass attempts. So, yes, Burrow's doing good, but Herbert is having a lot better, I would say, in my opinion, production. And I know the Bengals O-line is terrible, and AJ is, I don't know. Sometimes I don't watch many Bengals games, but when I do, sometimes he's making good catches. Sometimes he's showing no effort. Sometimes he's leading Marcus Peters on a interception return, trying to block for him. So I don't know what Burrow's doing. Mixon hasn't been great numbers-wise, but I can't blame that on Mixon because they're always behind in the game, so they're forced to throw it. And the Chargers O-line isn't much better. They're missing their left tackle and their guard for most of the season. So his O-line isn't great either. His receivers, he's got Keenan Allen. Mike Williams has been banged up. Hunter Henry's been banged up. Austin Eckler's been banged up. So it's not like he has the greatest weapons either. And Herbert's still going out there and balling every week.
Yeah, Herbert's my early pick for offensive rookie of the year. Just because of, I mean, if he stays the way he's doing, obviously he could fall off a cliff and that'll change. So we'll keep reevaluating this as the season goes on. But yeah, right now in his first 5 starts, Herbert is doing some crazy things. I watched it firsthand when he played the Jags. Dude's got a cannon, for one. He's doing stuff that what he was doing at Oregon, they just didn't let him do. He wasn't taking shots at Oregon. So that isn't something that we thought he could do consistently. But he is dropping dimes. Now we do this. People think that we just poop on Burrow to do it, but it's more because we see the worst that Burrow stands have to offer. So we just want to clap back at that because it's kind of annoying to see.
I don't know if you noticed, but watching the Jags game when he was playing, like he has one of the quickest releases. Like he gets the ball 40, 50 yards with a flick of the wrist and not a long motion. And he's really good. I was watching the Bucks game, and the Bucks obviously have a good defense. You saw what they did to Aaron Rodgers. And Herbert was just leading them up and down the field, answering Tom Brady back to back. They ended up losing that game, but I mean, can't really fault him for losing to Tom Brady and the Bucks, especially now because they're rolling. But he was making a lot of pre-play reads. They sent a heavy blitz, and he knew who to go to right away. Flick of the wrist, 70-yard touchdown. Then I was like, wow, this guy is actually really, really good. It was pretty impressive, especially the Chiefs game. He didn't really have any plan to start that game, which might have helped him. He didn't have any jitters, just, hey, get out there. But in the Chiefs game, he had one really bad pick. But other than that, he was super impressive.
Yeah, so that's the thing with both Burrow and Herbert. All right, get ready, Bengals fans. I'm not always a hater. They both handle pressure pretty well. I mean, both dudes, guys coming in their faces, they're standing there delivering. They seem to answer whenever they need to, for the most part. I mean, we saw it last week against the Browns. Burrow's going tit for tat with Baker, and his poor defense gave up on that one. So, but there's also moments, I don't know. They're both really good under pressure. But yeah, Herbert's just on another level right now where I don't think Burrow's going to beat him in that Rookie of the Year race.
I'm just going to dig into it, man. Everybody already thinks I'm a Burrow hater. Everybody thinks I'm a Lamar hater. So you just got to take that. You just got to wear that cape. You got to wear that hat. I hate Burrow. I hate Lamar, whatever. I'm going to wear that. But I was really looking to be impressed by Burrow when they went to Baltimore, played Baltimore, and he laid an egg.
So that's the thing with Burrow.
You got to show up to that game. You have to.
Yeah, so with Burrow, his numbers are also super deceiving. I sent you this stat the other day, and I shared it on Twitter, that Burrow has 9 touchdown passes. 6 of those are against the Cleveland Browns. So he's played 5 other teams, and he has 3. He has 3 games this year with 0 touchdown passes. That is not something you want to see. And then he has a really bad turnover problem at this point in his career as well. Dude has at least a fumble or an interception in every single game this season. So I don't know if it's just something that he's working through, or if this is going to be like a Daniel Jones issue or a Winston issue where you have to worry about you got to live with a turnover a game. I mean, even against the Browns, he threw 1 interception, but he had 2 more that were dropped. One was a pick 6 that got dropped right in the DB's hand. So it's definitely something you got to monitor.
And back to the O-line thing, I'm not going to say he doesn't have a bad O-line because he does, but there's a lot of times where Burrow holds the ball way too long or tries to juke out a defensive end like he's in college, and you just got to get rid of those. You can't take these hits over and over. These guys are 300 pounds. These ain't college kids, so you're not going to outrun them. You just got to get rid of the ball, and he's had the little of him I've watched. I watch him when the Chiefs aren't on just to hate on him because got to wear that hat. But the games I've watched, he's getting hit from the blind side, and you can tell he doesn't even know they're coming. And you got to feel that. You got to have that timer in your head.
Yeah, I think that'll come with time. I mean, that's kind of a rookie thing, maybe, hopefully.
I mean, it will, but we were told he's a finished product, so we got to judge him off what we're told.
That's why we're so hard on him, because literally over summer it was he's better than this guy already, even though he's never played a snap.
Better than Baker.
I expect him to take us to the playoffs. We're going to win at least 7 games. But now the excuse is Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor is the reason that they're only won 1 game so far. Which you can point to, like,
when he doesn't get fired.
Oh, he's not going to. I was listening to, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah on Move the Sticks, was like he likes the pairing of Zach Taylor or no, it wasn't Daniel Jeremiah, it was somebody else. They're like, the pairing of Taylor with Burrow is really nice, just to see how they work together. So I fully expect Zach Taylor to be back, as much as Bengals fans don't want him to be. He's a young coach, and he has his young quarterback. He's going to get more than 1 year with that young quarterback.
They'll probably fire the defensive coordinator, which they should, and maybe bring a more experienced offensive coordinator in. But Zach Taylor isn't going anywhere, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, coordinators I fully expect to change, offensive and defensive. But, yeah, Zach Taylor, he's going to get a shot. They knew there was going to be growing pains. Bengals just got to work on getting players out of there before it's too late. John Ross wanting out. Carlos Dunlap finally got his wish. We didn't talk about that. Carlos Dunlap to the Seahawks. I told you that morning when you sent me that he didn't have to come to work. I was like, he's going to the Seahawks. Sure enough.
From the outhouse to the penthouse.
Yeah, no joke. Straight from a pretender to a contender.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand the John Ross thing either. It's like, why are you holding this guy hostage? You view him as your 7th best receiver? You think Michael Thomas is better than John Ross? I mean, if you feel that way, trade him. Trade him for a 7th. Trade him for a 6th. What's keeping him doing for you? It just makes 0 sense. I guess he's got to list his house for sale on Twitter or something to get a trade.
Yeah, Matt Miller from Blues Report posted something. He was like, their hope. Well, it made sense after I saw it. He was talking about maybe they're shooting for a compensation pick over a draft pick. So they're thinking, hey, we could trade him for a 6 now, or possibly get a 4 if he signs with a new team and does X, Y, Z. So they're kind of like risking it. But again, I mean, same thing with AJ. Why keep him on your team? He's franchised. Surely you're not bringing him back next year. You could probably get a 4 or 5 for AJ right now. Go do it. Maybe even
I don't
higher.
think it's a stretch to say he could have got a 1st last year.
Yeah, well, yeah, not at all.
The Patriots or the Saints, I think they would have been more than
Patriots
happy
gave
if
up a
first
2
away.
last year for Mohamed Sanu. They definitely would have gave up a 1 for AJ Green last year.
Yeah, now he's ruined his value. So
yeah, so we'll see what they're doing in Cincinnati. I'm still praying coaches get fired in Jacksonville. So anybody out there who wants to pray with me, Doug Marone should not be back next year. or Dave Caldwell the GM. I'm scared. I'm really nervous about that one.
They'll be back.
Yeah, I know. And
One more year.
I'm changing my fandom.
You'll be a Bengals fan. Zach Taylor, baby.
Nah, I can't do that. I'd be a Vikings fan before that. My daughter's a Vikings fan, so
Oh, there you go.
join her squad. No, but so from there we'll go to storylines of the week. We got a big old beatdown possibly coming in New York via the Chiefs.
It's in
Le'Veon Bell
Kansas City,
versus
too.
New York Jets. Do you think they feed him?
I'm hoping so. I hope he gets 20 carries. Might as well. He's got to at least get a touchdown. You know, Andy's waiting to call him a play down inside the red zone to get him a score.
I think Andy's gonna let him embarrass him, like a little bubble screen. Take the corner 1-on-1.
I hope he gets a lot of touches. It was interesting because I thought, me and you've talked about this before, but I thought they would do Clyde, and then, you know, Bell on third down and whatnot. But last week they were just doing Clyde one series, Bell the next series, Clyde one series, Bell the next series. If you're Clyde, you got to be not happy about that because after what he did. But if they keep doing that one series on, one series off, if somebody finds a hot hand, ride it. I think that's great long term. Keep both of them fresh. But I'll be interested to see how they do it this week.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping Clyde gets to 20 touches. I got him in one of my fantasy leagues, so they're projecting 15, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it'll be. I think we could have a Bell show. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to look good early, and then they're going to ride that hot hand. Because I don't think Clyde is too worried about touches. I could be wrong, but he doesn't seem like the guy to stress about getting all the touches.
No, he's a rookie. He'll understand. And it's not like he's giving his touches up to Damian Williams. It's to Le'Veon Bell. So.
Well, when he was drafted, he was fully expected to go 50-50 with Dame. And then Dame opted out, so he became the lead guy. So that's why I said I fully expect him to go 50-50 with Bell, but I didn't expect he'd go one series on, one series off. I'm not sure if I like that because you got to find your groove. But we'll see how they do it this week. It'll be interesting because there was a play where Bell had an easy touchdown. Mahomes had a free blitzer off the edge. He looked for Bell, and Bell had nobody on that side of the field, but Bell didn't turn his head, so he took the sack. Him and Mahomes will get that worked out, I'm sure, but that could have been an easy touchdown. So we'll see how he looks this week. He looked great running the ball. No complaints. He looked fast. He had that explosiveness, that first step. He's finding the holes and hitting it. So no complaints about that. He only had 6 carries, I think, for 39 yards. But there's a crazy stat. He had one 16-yard or more carry with the Jets in a year and a half. And he had 2 16 or more carries with the Chiefs in the first game in 6 attempts. So that's kind of rough.
Yeah, just a little bit. Another big game. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. You call this the battle of the frauds.
Call me a Lamar hater all you want. I'm a big Lamar fan this week, baby. Go get me 500. Go get me 500 through the air, 5 touchdowns. Give me 300 on the ground. Shut these Steelers fans up for me.
So I think this is an interesting game, and it's gonna. I posed this question on social media, where if Lamar doesn't show up again in this game, that would be a struggle against basically the last 3 straight opponents that he's faced. That's been pretty tough, playoff caliber teams, and he struggled against them. If he does that, I mean, you got to start thinking about paying Lamar. At what point do you start to get worried that he might be, this is it? I mean, dude's an MVP. You can't take that away from him. He does amazing things, amazing athlete. But at some point, you got to beat these big teams, and he struggled against them.
Yeah, you definitely got to win at least one against the Steelers. I can't tell you who they beat this year that had a good record. Maybe you could refresh my memory on that. I know they beat Washington, Philly, Cleveland. They beat Cleveland. Cleveland has a good record.
The Ravens.
Yeah. And
let me pull it up real fast.
I know they almost lost to the Eagles. But Carson Wentz went for a read option to tie the game on a 2-point conversion. Didn't expect that. I thought that would be a blowout. So, Baltimore,
So
step up this week.
They've beaten the Browns, the Texans, Washington, Cincinnati, and the Eagles. So the Browns
4 combined wins.
Yeah, the Browns are definitely the best team they've beaten. That was also week 1. And then, every other team they've beaten only has 1 win. The Eagles have 2 wins. So, and they've struggled against the Eagles and the Chiefs they lost to. So, definitely makes you wonder. They have a little stretch coming up. They got the Steelers, Colts, and Titans all within, and the Steelers again. So 4 out of the next 5 weeks. They're playing some pretty good defenses.
MVP Lamar, come on.
And they played the Patriots in that stretch too. So
this could be weird, man.
The Patriots are good.
This may be when Lamar first started. I was rooting for him heavy. I liked him. Different quarterback, fun to watch. And then ever since he was MVP around week 9 or 10 of his MVP season, it's just really annoying. All the fans, he's the best quarterback this century, blah, blah, blah. They got real carried away. Then he pooped the bed in the playoffs. So I don't think I've rooted for him in a long time. So it'd be nice to get back to rooting for Lamar this weekend.
Me and you both called it. The Steelers are definitely a different team when it's not Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph back there.
Yeah, so, we were both on that early. I even said they were going to win the division, I believe. We'll have to rewind the tapes. But, I'm high on Pittsburgh.
Winning, I had them going second.
I don't think Pittsburgh, even though I'm high on them, I don't think they're undefeated great. Even though they're undefeated, I don't think they're the best team in the league right now. We'll see, though. Only time will tell.
I think if they beat the Ravens, they're going to get serious talk about that best team in the league.
Already are. They're already the number 1.
They're getting the talk now, but I mean it's going to be pretty noisy after that because they're not going to play the Chiefs this year.
I think it'll all turn to Lamar hate. I think if the Ravens lose, it'll all be Lamar is not the guy. Panic for a week, and then he'll go play somebody like Washington and beat them, and everything will be all good.
That's tough. That's going to be – I don't think people can hate Lamar, though. I feel like
can.
He gets – yeah. I feel like Lamar's reached that level because he's an MVP where the excuses get made around him. Like we saw it in the playoffs. It was the receiver's fault, not Lamar's fault. Against the Chiefs, it was
the defense.
Everybody else's fault, not Lamar's fault. He doesn't have a receiver, so who's he going to throw to? Well, that wasn't the case against the Cleveland Browns, was it?
No.
It's just, I think Lamar's at that weird spot where people don't really blame him right now. It's really...
It'll be interesting. Do you think he's a top 5 guy right now?
Oh, I never had Lamar in the top 5. And especially after the last month, he's definitely not. Top 10, yes, just because he's so special, but not necessarily top 5. And there's a lot of good young quarterbacks right now who are blowing him out of the water in terms of passing ability. Kyler Murray is one of them.
No, I was going to have that discussion, but we'll save that for another podcast. But is there any other good games this week?
Yeah, NFC East up for grabs. Sunday Night Football, Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Carson Wentz versus Ben DiNucci. We got to get fan favorite Larry back on the pod.
We do. Larry, come back.
Black sheep favorite. I don't know if he's a fan favorite.
I think I made him a $500 bet if Dak wins the Super Bowl MVP that I'll pay up. No bet, no return bet. It's just straight cash on my side. So I think I'm good on that one. So safe. Keep that 500.
We got to bring him back for a midweek. We'll just let him vent out all his issues on air. Just let's hear the pain. Because he said, 13-3?
Yeah.
They lost 3 games before Dak got even hurt.
They might go 3-13. But I think the Eagles are winning this division at 6-9-1.
Oh, that'd be so embarrassing. And they host a
I mean,
playoff game.
who tops 6 wins? I don't think the
None.
Giants do.
Giants definitely don't. Washington definitely don't. You know, Washington is sneaky because their defense is low key good. So they might win like 4 or 5, but I don't see them passing 6.
Yeah, I don't know. Have the Eagles and Washington played yet?
I don't know. Let me check.
Those 2 games could be huge if they haven't. Whoever won that first game would have a leg up. I don't know. Kyle Allen out there. Is that his name?
Yeah,
Washington's
Kyle
quarterback.
Allen.
We never know. So it'd be interesting.
Oh, they played week 1. Washington won.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. We brought Mac on for that one.
Washington's got the leg up.
Ooh, week 17. Washington, Philadelphia.
For the division
Title. I'm calling it. That's going to be for the division title.
Yeah, I got the Eagles up, man. If they get healthy, they could make some noise. They could at least win a playoff game, I think.
Could you imagine having 6 wins, knowing that could be a top 10 pick, but instead you're going to pick in the 20s because you won your division? Oh, that is so hurtful.
Hey, what was the Seahawks record when Beast Mode erupted? I think they were like 7 wins.
7-9.
Yeah.
7-9. Well, that was when they were the NFC worst. I remember that little.
So,
Beast Mode erupted. Hold my dick.
It could happen again. I could definitely see it with this Eagles team.
Yeah, that was a 12-4 Saints team too. That was like a real
they were good
Saints team, and they just lost it because another team in the South was really good. I think it was the Falcons were really good that year.
Crazy.
So
knock off the Bucks.
Yeah, Washington or Philly and Dallas. I think Carson Wentz is going to go for a lot of yards.
He should.
I'm calling over 400 for Carson Wentz.
He
looked good last week.
Into my top 5.
No, I think he's done there.
Hey, he looked good second half against Baltimore.
He embarrassed us the first couple weeks.
He did.
We
were on his jock heavy.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he carried these practice squad receivers to the playoffs. He's definitely a top 5 when he gets this year and throws 5 picks in 2 games. Yeah.
Who you got for your skunk of the week?
Skunk of the week. So the easy guess would be Chiefs and Jets, but I'm not doing that.
I'm rolling
Skunk
with
of the week.
Jets.
Monday Night Football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Giants. Tom Brady's been on a tear. Father Time looked like he caught up, but then Tom Brady juiced up and took off again. So I got Brady going for, and this is going to be Antonio Brown's first game. I got Brady going for 300. He's going over 300 this week, and he's going to at least 4 touchdowns.
Maybe he can't play yet, can he?
Yeah, he signed last week.
Week 9. He's suspended for the first 8.
What are you talking about? No, he served it.
8 games already?
Oh, maybe
they haven't played 8 games. He can't come back till week 9.
They don't need him. Scotty Miller's going for 200.
Oh, okay. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, Tampa Bay's going to win by a lot.
You know what? My skunk is going to stay with the Chiefs. Picked them last week. Pretty sure they skunked. I forget the score, but pretty sure they skunked. Chad Henne got in there on a read option for a touchdown. If they didn't win by 21, that's basically a skunk if Chad Henne Gronk spikes on you.
Yeah, I think Chad Henne's won by the second quarter. Tammy's on the practice squad. They're going to seat him up by the end of the game.
I would say my bold prediction is Le'Veon gets over 100 on the ground for the first time in 2 years.
Jeez, that's wild. Well, it would be almost 3 years because he had 2 years with the Jets. Well, a year and a half with the Jets, and then that year off.
Yep. I think he gets over 100 again.
That'd be a good one. So we like to do things off the dome here, make some good content. We're going offensive MVP, coach of the year off the dome. Who's your
top
MVP?
3 or just one?
Let's do top 3 MVP picks.
All right, so I'll start at 3. 3, I'll go Mahomes.
Okay.
2, I'll go Man, let's go Kyler.
Okay.
And then 1, I'll go Russell.
So I have the same 3 names, just a different order. 3, I'm going Mahomes. 2, I'm going Russell. He was my number 1 until last week when he threw 3 interceptions. And then number 1's Kyler Murray. Carrying the Arizona Cardinals to a possible division title.
We'll see.
He's doing good things in year 2. And year 2 quarterbacks. People love the last 2 years. It's been the year 2 quarterback to get the MVP. So
I think if he even makes the playoffs, he should get MVP, in my opinion. And
Oh,
I wish
definitely.
Arizona would use Isaiah Simmons right. It hurts me to see him being misused.
He played 5 plays last game. In those 5 plays, he had an interception.
It's like just put him at linebacker and nickel. Play him at safety if you have to. He can do whatever, I think, personally.
Yeah, he should never leave the field. They drafted him in the top 5.
7, I think.
No, he got drafted 7. Yeah, it was right before the Jags. That one of them.
So it's like, come on, man. Use him right. You knew what you were drafting. If you didn't know how you were going to use him, why'd you take him so early?
Exactly. But
then we'll go to Coach of the Year. 3, I'll go with let's go Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera at 3.
So good story.
2, Andy Reid. 1, Cliff Kingsbury.
So we have different names here. At number 3, I'm going to go Bruce Arians. Number 2, I probably got to go. Oh, man, this is tough. I'd probably go Andy Reid. And number 1's Cliff Kingsbury.
We both left Tomlin out. And Vrabel.
Yeah, I knew I was going to say Tomlin. But I feel like, I don't know, Tomlin could always be Coach of the Year, for being honest.
After I said Rivera, I was like, fuck. I forgot Tomlin and
Vrabel's a good
even
choice,
Vrabel.
Though. Yeah.
Hey, that's why you got to go off the dome. Ron Rivera, baby.
Yeah, Ron Rivera. We should do power rankings off the dome one day, 32-1.
That would be rough. I might forget a whole team and put in the Oilers.
Oh, jeez. We would have, like, the Bears at number 2.
Forget them until the end. I'd have to definitely have a checklist.
Jeez. I think if they make the playoffs, that might be Coach of the Year right there. Running out Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky. Oh, my God.
Matt Nagy.
Did you see that thing that Nick Foles came out and said?
No.
He said that sometimes Nagy will call in plays, and Nick Foles knows off the rip it's not going to work because he won't have enough time.
That's rough.
That's he really runs rough. It anyway.
You got to sacrifice.
Oh, jeez. That's when a quarterback says that about the coach, that's rough. I don't know how they. He says, "Yeah, I know." That's what Aaron Rodgers used to do to Mike McCarthy.
What do you think about Belichick? Blaming the cap space for depth.
Well, he can only blame himself because he's the GM there too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a good look. You finally are having a rough season and you're starting to blame cap space. You've been working the cap for how many years and being successful?
Exactly.
Now you're having a bad year and you can't got to blame the cap. That's just, come on, Bill. You're better than that.
If the Patriots continue to struggle and Tom Brady goes to the playoffs, does he win the debate for Belichick or Tom? Who made who?
He's got to do it in the playoffs, in my opinion.
He's got to do it in the playoffs? What do you mean? What does he got to do? You think he has to win a Super Bowl to prove it?
You got to at least win a game.
Okay.
You got at least win a game or two.
That's fair.
I just think when you got coaching matters more in the playoffs than it does the regular season, in my opinion. So I think you just got to win in the playoffs to prove you don't need a coach. If he gets in the playoffs and looks lost and has a bad game, you're like, man, he could have used the Bill Belichick game plan here.
You were super low on the Bucks. I think you said like 6-10.
I did. It's still possible. It's still possible.
Yeah, go 1 in whatever in the season. It's still there. I don't
It's
see it.
possible.
I said they're going to the playoffs, but I was a Tom Brady believer.
I called the Cardinals being good. I got one right.
You did. I think I think I said they'd be average, just because that division's so tough.
I also called the Vikings being poop. And
You did. I called that out. You said like 4.
Yeah, you crushed me for that.
I did. Jeez, we need to do a mid-season review. See what we missed on. See what we hit on. I said the Jaguars games.
Yeah. And you had me buying it. You said the Panthers would be poop. They've been in every game.
That sucks so bad.
I said the Raiders would be last in the division. Yeah, we have to bring that back. Got to bring that back.
I said, oh man, I'm trying to think of all our playoff picks. Anything we missed crazy. We both said the Steelers would be good. I think I said the Texans would win that division, and they're awful.
I might have said the Chargers make the playoffs. I don't remember. But
yeah, but that was based off Tyrod.
You said the Browns would get that last spot. I remember you called 3 from that division, which is looking good now. I said the Chargers, possible, I guess. Depends how the Browns do. Maybe the Raiders get in there. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm about to listen back now.
Yeah, I have to mark that down. Did we do preseason MVP and stuff? I can't remember.
I think we did, because I remember saying Russ would be MVP. I don't know if we broke it down as preseason MVP and stuff like that, but I know that we made our picks when we talked about the teams.
We gotta start doing that. But nice little random stuff at the end of these episodes.
Hey, if anybody wants a topic, anybody listening, if you guys want to hear a topic talked about, let us know. It doesn't have to be sports. We'd prefer it to be sports. But if there's something you got on your mind, let us know.
Hey, make an announcement.
No politics. That's all.
Yeah, please. Oh, hey, we might have to worry about that here soon. Wait a couple more days. Don't forget to go vote.
Yeah. What's the announcement you want?
We got some big names coming.
We do. We have one big name. If you guys are a reality show junkie like me, you watch shows like Floribama Shore. Big fan. Huge fan. We got one of my favorites from the show, Kodai, coming on to join us. They're filming season 4 right now. He hit me back and said that he would love to join us when he gets back. So we're excited to have him on, talk some sports. Big Clemson fan, so me and him ain't gonna like each other this weekend. But
dude, I hope he comes back right before the playoffs.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'd be excited to have him on.
Yeah. Hey, so to make that even better, I mean, we don't want him to come to a show with only 48 subs. So we need you guys to hit that.
Hey, we're up to 50. Button.
Are we?
And shout out to Facebook, 300 likes. We passed that this week sometime. We're up to 300 and over 300. I forget what the exact number was, but we've passed 300 on Facebook. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, thank you guys so much. And always, big shout out to Jim Bob's Grizzly Beard Care for his constant support in all our videos. Dude's awesome. I usually hang up a banner, but I got to find a better spot to record and stuff. I'm in my kitchen, so I don't have a lot of stuff to hang it on. My wife
send that banner over.
Decor back there. Oh, yeah, I can put it in. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, new merch.
Shout out to him. New merch. We got a whole new store.
New store. If you guys have any ideas for a shirt, let us know. We can make that for you. But the new site is teespring.com/blacksheepmerch. Hit me up, and we'll figure something out. Maybe 100 subs, we'll give away some merch.
100 subs. You heard it. Free merch. There's no maybe there. We're giving it away. You guys get us 100 subs. Hey, thank you guys for always tuning in, checking us out. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Let us know if you want any other platforms. We can try to make that happen. Hey, thank you guys. See ya.
Peace.